Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of December 5th. We're just going to jump right in here, Gemini, and we are going to see what is going on in your current general energies. You have this semi-square card. It says tension on it, and you have the Lovers, so there could be some tension in your love life here. Although, I don't know, this looks pretty good to me. You have Lovers, Page of Cups, and the Empress. I mean, these are really good cards. So I do feel like there could be some tension. Look at this reading. This is very good, Gemini. What I would say is that maybe you need to be like a little bit more flexible in your love life. Or again, you could be, take it how it resonates. You could be dealing with a person who isn't very flexible or who hasn't been very flexible, right? And, that's definitely something to think about here. But let's see. I want to see what this tension thing is here. So let's take a look and see. This is definitely a very good love reading if you want love. Even if you don't want love, it's still a good reading. So you have this tension card. I want to see what this next card is. It's the Ascendant, and it says entrance on it. So, for some of you, I feel that there maybe has been tension in your love life in the past. And it's like now you're actually, I would say, probably moving away from it. I would encourage you to be flexible in like your love life in general, like as in how you get love or, how love enters your life in general, because you have that flexibility card next. Some of you could be experiencing a little chaos in your love life, but I don't know, looks like you're correcting it. It's almost not even worth mentioning. So you have the Lovers, the Page of Cups, and the Empress. Again, I do feel like you are very attractive at this time. This could be why you're attracting love, obviously. It does look like there was some disappointment in the past, though. Again, you go up to the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups. The combination of the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups, to me, I'm not a big fan of that combination. And, to me, it represents like a disappointment or having experienced a disappointment or having experienced a loss. But right next to it is the Devil. So I'd say if you lost anything, you lost the Devil, which I don't really see that as a bad thing. I see that as a good thing. So, that's what I'll say there. You do have the Page of Cups here. Page of Cups could be like a new love offer coming in for you. It could also be, again, for those of you that don't want love, I would say you're very focused on something that's part of your imagination, something that you could be building or creating with the Empress. And I feel it will be very abundant, whatever it is. But I definitely feel that a lot of you have like some sort of secret admirer in your life. Next, you have the Lovers. So again, definitely love or love opportunities coming in for you if you want love. And, like I said, very strong love energy. I feel like you need to focus on what makes you happy as well. I'm also getting something here that if you want love, I feel like you need to like stop making, not excuses, but it's like I feel like you make like certain concessions and you shouldn't do that. I feel like this is saying like don't settle. Maybe that's a better way to put it. But let's see what's going on here. With the Lovers, you have the Four of Pentacles. Some of you could be holding on to someone from the past, and that could be where this tension is coming from. Some of you, I also feel, could be like trying to close out a cycle from the past, or you're wondering if it's closed out. So that's kind of like where this holding on energy is coming from. With the Page of Cups, you have the Fool. I would take a leap of faith towards something new, plain and simple. Again, if you experienced tension in the past, I feel the Ascendant card, which says entrance on it, is encouraging you to enter into something new. It is interesting that we have Jupiter going into Aries at the end of the year as well. Technically, Jupiter would kind of be crossing the Ascendant. Again, not accurate astrology here. This is Chris's crappy astrology. But just like what I'm intuiting here is that intuitively I feel that for those of you looking for love, that the beginning of the year basically could be a time where maybe you meet a new person or, you meet a person in general. I would also say that I do feel for some of you, it is time for you to take a risk here. And we're going to look more into this risk as we go throughout this reading. With the Empress, you have the Two of Cups, love. Sorry, for those of you that don't want a love reading. I mean, it's like people always say, you say you don't do love readings. And I say, I do whatever comes up readings. And it's like, I'm not making it up here, people. So don't shoot the messenger. Like every single card here is a love card, especially in this first row. So, it is what it is. And what I would say here is that, I feel there could be a perfect match coming in for a lot of you. Definitely feels like new love to me. And again, if you don't want love, take it how it resonates. This could be just an abundant opportunity that is coming in for you. In the area of what you don't see coming, you have this flexibility card. I immediately want to clarify this. And you have this opportunity card as well. I feel like there could be an opportunity coming in for you that is going to require flexibility. It's going to require you to do things that you never thought you would do. You have the Two of Swords here, which is basically an opportunity that requires you to do something you never thought you would do. She's normally sitting there with her, swords crossed over her chest, and there's a new island behind her. The new island represents somewhere she's never been. She's sitting where she has always been on the Two of Swords. So she needs to cross through the water and get to the other side. She could be fearing that she's going to get hit by the rocks that are in the water, but if she just took her blindfold off, put her swords down, she would see that it was low tide and that she could easily walk right across the water. So for a lot of you, I feel what's unexpected is that there's like an unexpected opportunity coming in that's going to require you to be very flexible. You have the Ten of Cups, the Four of Cups, and the Two of Swords. I think that you need to be careful of kind of looking at this opportunity as the same way that you look at a past opportunity as well. There's definitely a connection to the past here, and it's still not immediately clear to me based off this first row. This first row to me is a little bit confusing because of the tension card, right? That tension card is kind of throwing me off a little bit, and it still hasn't clarified. And we're going to, we might have to come back and clarify if it doesn't fix itself as we move throughout the reading here. But what I would say is that I feel like based off of past disappointments, you could be looking at new opportunities and saying like, oh, this is just going to be a disappointment. But I feel if you take the blindfold off, like part of me feels you need to trust your intuition with the Two of Swords. The blindfold in the tarot isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it's just a suggestion that you trust your intuition, which I feel like that's part of it. But I also feel there's like a need to see things as well. Like, kind of if you get a new opportunity, look at it, see it, explore it, figure out what's going on over there, right? She needs to, again, leave where she has always been and go to the new island. The other thing is that I feel here is that sometimes with the Two of Swords, we could be looking for a middle ground. We could be looking for a middle ground solution to a problem. I kind of feel like there is no middle ground here. It's either all or nothing is what I'm getting here. And so I feel that for some of you, there's like an all or nothing type of opportunity where it's like you're either all in or you're all out. And, that could be what's going on here. This could also be in love as well. For some of you, I am wondering, just looking at the first row in this, if you dealt with a person who tried to get you to stay stuck in a pickle here. And they like wanted their cake and wanted to eat it too, right? And so that's like this right here going this way. I would say that if you haven't already, I feel like you are transforming the situation like in your favor. I feel like you're transforming it to go past this person. If it's a past person, you're just like choosing yourself. Let's put it that way. You have the Ten of Cups here. Ten of Cups is like fortune after difficulty and happiness. I feel like if you're worried about like any new opportunities, clearly you're going to be very happy in these new opportunities, so I wouldn't. And again, if it's a love, I feel like there's new love coming in, and it's definitely probably more what you want. It's not like something toxic where someone is trying to keep you stuck in between two things, right? I get this all or nothing energy here though, Gemini, in this row. So it's like you're either all in or you're all out. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Eight of Cups. It's kind of interesting because I feel that this first row, it's like so good for love except for that tension card. And then you have the Four of Pentacles as well, holding on too tightly to something. Ten of Cups, you have the Eight of Cups here. Eight of Cups is like walking away from things that no longer serve you. So for a lot of you, I do feel this reading is encouraging you to walk away from anything, love or otherwise, that is just stealing your energy. These are things, if you're wondering what are these things I should be walking away from, it's pretty simple. It's like, do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel happy and joyful and abundant after you deal with the situation? Or do you feel tired, exhausted, and angry or anything like that after dealing with a person, place, or a thing, right? And that's your answer. If you don't feel fulfilled, if you feel those negative feelings, time to walk away from whatever that situation is and move towards something new. With the Four of Cups, you have the Nine of Wands. It is weird that if you're dealing with a person, it's like someone doesn't want to give up here, I feel, with the Nine of Wands. I also do feel that some of you are coming off a period of time where you have been wounded, and I feel that Nine of Wands is encouraging you to like open up to new opportunity. With the Two of Swords, you have the Ace of Swords. Like literally having to pick one sword is what this is saying to me. She has two swords normally on the Two of Swords. I feel like you need to pick one sword, one thing that is a victory or will be a victory in your life. Again, all or nothing here. This is going to cause chaos in someone's life here. For some of you, it's like maybe you're dealing with a person, you have to leave them, right, to choose yourself or to pick the right person or whatever the case may be. But At the same time, there's normally a crown at the top of the Ace of Swords, and the crown is like your crown. It's a victory. Ace of Swords also represents a sacrifice. On a traditional Ace of Swords, there's a palm frond on one side and an olive branch on the other. Palm fronds in the tarot represent sacrifices or needing to make a sacrifice. The olive branch is like an offer of peace, but it can also just be abundance or, getting what you want. So I do feel like for some of you, it's almost as if you're creating a tower moment. I don't think not like a tower moment. I don't think this is like a bad thing. I think you're just you're sacrificing something that no longer serves you. But I feel like you need to be all in on one thing. I always say, don't half-ass something, whole-ass one thing really, really well. And that's what you're doing here. Next, in the area of what's coming towards you, you have this chaos and conflict card. I wouldn't really worry about this too much. Again, I kind of get this feeling that some of you could be creating a little bit of chaos. I don't mean this in like a toxic bad way. It's just like sometimes, I don't know, if we're with a person and they're not right for us and we leave, then we could be creating chaos for that person. But it's like, if it's not right, it's not right. It's better, to me, it's better to end a situation and deal with it than it is to just stay in something just so you don't upset someone or just so you don't create chaos, right? And so I feel like there could be a little bit of chaos here. Can we get more information here? Yeah, you have the peace card as well. So I feel like you will be at peace, but you might be causing chaos for something. Could also be like a job or a business. Like maybe you don't want to be stuck at your job anymore, and so you quit. That could create chaos, but at the same time, I feel like you're really creating stability for yourself with the King of Pentacles. You have the Five of Cups, the Temperance card, and the King of Pentacles here. Five of Cups, again, this is giving me, the weird thing is that the Five of Cups is giving me all or nothing vibes. It's like she's focusing normally, or he, on a traditional card, he's focusing on 3 cups that have spilt, and he's not focusing on the 2 cups that he still has behind him. If he were to focus on those 2 cups, you would see the bridge and the castle as well. But I kind of feel that all or nothing energy. It's like you could be still kind of thinking about something over here when you should be just over here. And I feel like you need to be all on the side of new stuff or new opportunities or better opportunities, right? I'm wondering if some of you have tried to transform a situation as well with the Temperance card. Maybe you've been trying to work through something, or you've been trying to work on something with the Temperance energy. And so I definitely feel that here. But what I would say, I don't know, I feel like, again, all or nothing. The thing with the Temperance card that I will tell you is that normally the Temperance angel has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, is mixing the cups together, but there's a path that goes up to a golden crown. That is the path to glory on the Temperance card. And it's the path to getting everything that you want and desire to have in your life. And I feel like you need to, at a certain point, the Temperance angel needs to get into the water to get to that path. So for some of you, I'm wondering if some of you are making an emotional decision where you have to go through something, like I already said, to get to what you actually want. And I feel like some of you need to do that. You have the King of Pentacles here. Again, everybody's been getting the King of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles is a card of focusing on permanence, creating permanent situations or creating things that last a long time in life. So I feel for a lot of you that you are very focused on, creating things that last a long time, whether they're businesses, careers, relationships. I kind of feel like that's a more of a focus for you right now, is making sure that, anything you enter into is going to last a long time. That could be what's going on here. With the Five of Cups, you have the Judgment card. I feel like you're waking up to something. This is a pretty intense reading, because for some of you, I'm wondering if if this reading is saying you're making a difficult decision because you've been enlightened, or because you've almost seen something that has maybe woken you up. The Judgment card, the people in the Judgment card are kind of raising out of coffins. The coffin represents their old life. The outside the coffin represents their new life. I would say that this reading is really talking about a very intense transformation that you are making at this time, Gemini, and it could be in any area of your life. You have the Lovers, could be love, but Lovers is about being at a crossroads, having a decision to make. Two of Swords, same thing. And I really feel you need to pick that one sword that is a victory for you, whatever that looks like for you, even if you have to hurt people, even if you have to, make some decisions that might upset people. And again, we're not talking about hurting people on purpose. We're talking about when you break up with a person, you are hurting them, but that's life. We all have to go through breakups. We all have to deal with those things, right? And again, I think it's better to be honest with a person, get it over and done with, than it is to drag something out for years and years and years, right? With the Temperance card, you have the Queen of Swords. You see clearly now. That's the thing. I'm wondering if you see what could lead to a victory clearly now. Maybe you haven't seen what that golden crown is. Maybe you haven't ever realized, what a golden crown, that path to glory. Maybe you haven't realized what that would be for you, but it's almost like you're seeing it. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Swords. Again, there is some, like round and round energy going on in this reading. And so don't be afraid to like end a round and round situation is what this is really saying to me. I feel like that will lead to the best transformation. Again, the Nine of Swords to me says you can be the bug or the windshield. Normally there's a person on the bed, like there's a carving on the bottom of the bed, and it's like a person on their back, and another person is like hitting them with a sword or about to. And it kind of says to me that you can either, face your fears head on and you can conquer those fears, or you can let your fears conquer you. And this whole entire reading is really saying to me that you need to either conquer a fear or kind of maybe go through one. And it's not like that, again, I think people get scared, but it's not something like scary. You have that opportunity card. This is for a big opportunity. So whatever this transformation is leading to a bigger opportunity. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this setbacks card. It says, take one step forward to make two steps back. I feel like that's what you've been experiencing in a situation. You have this surprise card as well. It says, expect the universe to pleasantly surprise you. There you go. I feel like there are pleasant surprises in removing yourself from toxic situations. For some of you, I don't know if this is true for all of you, obviously, but for some of you, you have the Devil, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Four of Wands. I'm wondering if you recently went back to a toxic situation. So maybe you feel like you took a step backwards into a toxic situation. But again, I feel this was maybe just part of your lesson or part of your journey, whatever you want to call it. And it's like now you see something for what it truly is with the Devil card. I also feel that you need to be careful. Like I feel you've learned like what controls you, with this Devil card. Normally on the Devil, there are two people on it and they both have animal horns. It represents like animal instincts or, kind of like we all have that animal side to us, right? And so it can kind of represent needing to set ourselves free from that. Those people, if you look at a traditional Devil card, those chains that are around their neck are meant to look very loose. They could easily lift those chains from around their necks. So I feel like for some of you, you're kind of like getting over something or setting yourself free from something that you feel has controlled you. You have the Wheel of Fortune. Definitely, again, you have that card that says, expect the universe to pleasantly surprise you. So I feel like there are pleasant surprises after whatever this mess is here, Gemini. I feel like this is very different. So I'm wondering if this happened recently, because this is very different than what has come up in your readings recently, this reading here. Sometimes I feel like I'm reading for like one person specifically, and, maybe that's what this is. But what I would say here is I do feel there is a turnaround in the energy, and it's going to be an improvement. You also have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands, a card of marriage. This could be your future self saying, like, if you're holding on to a past person because you're afraid that if you don't, that you're not going to get married, again, I would let those fears go. I feel like your future self is saying, of course, there's going to be a new person coming in for you. For others, the Four of Wands is a card of freedom. And I really feel your future self here is saying, like, it wants you to set yourself free so that you can be more free in life. Kind of interesting reading, definitely intense. But let's see here. With the Devil, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Some of you could be ending up like independent, like focusing on yourself. I really feel your future self is saying that you've learned the lesson of like how much energy you can give to certain people, places, and things, and how much energy you need to keep for yourself. Normally on the Nine of Pentacles, she has 3 pentacles on one side, 6 pentacles on the other. It kind of says that she's willing to give 3 pentacles to pretty much any situation in life, and she always keeps 6 pentacles for herself. And those, some people say like, well, that's not fair. And I'm like, well, it's actually perfectly fair. Life isn't 50-50, number one. Number two, it's like, it's really a percentage. Like the more she keeps for herself, the 3 pentacles actually ends up being worth more and more and more over time, because she's always like fulfilling herself, So I feel like you've learned how to do that. Definitely could be becoming more financially independent. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the 7 of Cups. I feel like you need to like figure out what you want here, Gemini. Like part of me wonders, like, if a reading like this is coming up because Mars is retrograde in your sign. It's not terrible energy, right? I actually don't ever really worry about Mars retrograde. The only rule that I personally really follow under Mars retrograde, well, actually two rules: no arguments in the home ever or with people, period, right? Will Smith, right? This year, why do you think that happened? I don't care that it happened before the Mars retrograde. I always say Mars retrograde years, no arguments, no public outbursts, no none of that. The other rule is I follow the flow. If I'm doing something and I'm bumping up against obstacle after obstacle, I stop doing whatever that thing is. If I do something else and it flows and it has a nice energy to it, I keep doing that. That's the whole thing. Mars retrograde doesn't stop anything. It just wants us to pay attention to what is flowing in our life. And that's what I would be doing here with the Seven of Cups. It will change your life with the Wheel of Fortune. Those are the words that are popping into my head. With the Four Wands, I knew it. I'm pretty sure I said something about the tower, creating the tower, or something like that in your reading. Am I making that up? I don't think so. But like everybody has had the tower again. Wouldn't surprise me if there were just collective tower moments going on in the world, just in general. Some of you, of course, could be dealing with like a separation, divorce, something like that. And it could be involving family because you have the Ten of Cups here. So, going this direction here down to the tower, obviously in the Four Wands marriage. I do feel like some of you could be like breaking a contract here. And it's not like you're breaking a contract like, in getting in trouble here. I just feel like for some of you, it's like sometimes I think we come up with these rules in our heads like, oh, I have to stay at this job because, that's the way I was raised, to always be loyal to my job. But, I feel like you're kind of breaking like a sacred covenant like that is what I'm getting here. There's definitely some sort of shock here. I feel like I need to pull an extra row for you. I'm just going to put it on top of this row because it'll just be easier for me to see it. But can we just get like a final outcome here of like what is going on? I feel like you need to not be afraid to create the tower is what your future self is saying on that tower card. I feel like you could be creating a tower for a person or a group of people or whatever. But again, we're not talking about like in a toxic way. I want to stress that. People always are like, I'm not a bad, they always leave me comments saying like, I'm not a bad person. I would never do that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, I don't care. Number one. Number two, it's like, sometimes we have to create the tower. Sometimes we have to break up with a person. Sometimes we have to quit a job, right? And that's what this looks like to me. I feel like, but it's almost like there's fear behind it. Can we just get a final outcome here, please? So I know what's going on. You have the Hermit. See, I feel like you've maybe been hiding your true light, which this could be your truth. And again, Mars retrograde in your sign has a lot to do with truth. Normally, the Hermit has the star in his lantern, but he's kind of like, it's in the lantern. He's not blasting his star out there. It's like his inner truth. Like, what is your truth? And are you living your truth? I can't answer that question for you, Gemini. You have to answer that question for yourself. Are you living your inner truth? And if you are, great. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're not, then you need to make some changes, is what this is basically saying to me. Next, you have the Nine of Pentacles again. It might be time for you to focus on yourself, just in general. I always say it drives me crazy when I hear readers say like, oh, you're single with the Nine of Pentacles. It's like, yeah, that could be true, but it's like, this is true independence. This is not just being single. It's like, just because she's independent doesn't mean she doesn't have a person in her life. To me, she's like the highest vibration of true independence, which you could be with a person. She just understands equal give and take times like 10. And she understands what it means to be independent. So some of you, I feel like maybe you are kind of working on your independence or focusing on your independence. And next you have the Nine of Wands. Some of you, I feel like you need to heal from something as well. And that could be why you need to create a tower moment. Again, if you haven't healed from something, that could be why you're creating this with the Nine of Wands. So pretty crazy reading. Like I said, sometimes this happens during retrograde. Sorry, I almost just dropped all the cards. But I would focus on that Ace of Swords, your truth, your own inner truth. I would be flexible. I would also focus on any opportunities that could be coming in for you. But again, these are going to be opportunities that require flexibility. So we're going to pull 3 cards now. I'm going to answer one question. If you have a question, great. Feel free to pause this reading. I'm going to answer your question with these 3 cards. If you don't have a question, that's fine too. I'm going to put all 3 together at the end, kind of like a Personalish reading. So I'm going to read the cards right now. So pause the reading if you need to. You have the Seven of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Page of Wands. It's very interesting that the words that are popping into my head here, Gemini, are that if you're asking a question, some of you, it's like you feel like you've been cheated out of something. That's what I'm getting intuitively. That's not really what this, means. But again, that's kind of what I'm getting here. And I feel like things will be made right. If you've been cheated out of if you feel like you've been cheated out of love or business or money or something like that, I feel like the universe is encouraging you to kind of like get on your horse with that Six of Wands, move towards things that are victories in your life, and kind of like go on an adventure as well with the Page of Wands. It's kind of interesting that this is saying that the solution, like what's popping into my head intuitively, is that the solution to the Seven of Swords, lying, cheating, stealing, but it's popping into my head as being cheated out of something. your solution is to like move away from it with that Six of Wands, but also focus on wins, like things that lead to winning in your life. That could be anything. That could be focusing on your health. That could be exercising. That could be building a business, like whatever, or, it could be anything. Whatever you do to win is what I would be doing here. And I would say if you haven't been winning at all, then you need to start. And if you don't know how to win, because you've never been a winner in life, well, you're here in the winning pond, right? Minnow Pond, so that you have to be a winner. But what I would say here is if you've never won anything in your life, then, you got to start small. Like, there's a book, Make Your Bed. Start making your bed in the morning. And if you do it every single morning for like a week straight, there's a win, right? So you have to start small. But I really feel this is saying you need to start winning, Gemini. That's really the energy I get from the whole entire reading in general. I feel like you need to start creating these wins because it's just going to motivate you to keep moving forward. But definitely this is like an intense change or something like that going on here. So, very interesting. I feel like you need to live your truth as well. But thank you for being here, Gemini. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.